Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of That's What Healing Is, where I talk about all things healing, the good, the bad, the ugly, the snot crying bubbles, all of the things. Today we have our very first co-host. We have a guest. I'm so excited. Miss Teva, she is amazing. I met her when I first started my founder journey and kind of my healing journey. So she has seen me come from a long way. So thank you so much, Tiva, for being here. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Tiffany, I appreciate you having me. I must say to be able to watch someone's journey, like from the very beginning, even in the progression stages, is really an honor. So thank you so much for having me. I am Tiva. I am corporate mommy or brand strategist, whichever one you would like to refer me to. They both go hand in hand. I have been in the corporate world now for about 3 years. And I've been a mommy now for 5 years, going on six. And so it has been crazy how time really flies. And again, I'm happy to be here and I'm ready to dive in.
Well, awesome. Well, this time I have questions because I'm always
Okay.
sometimes forgetting what I'm going to talk about when I get onto the podcast. So I have questions. Let's start with healing. This is what we talk
Okay.
about.
Yeah.
How have you been on a healing journey? What has your healing journey been about? Tell us about your healing story.
Yeah. So, goodness, I don't know if I can like dive into the complete story. And honestly, when I saw this question, I should really take some time to like go back and just really dive in. I mean, that in itself is a healing work, and that shadow work that is really tough. I kind of got teary eyed when I thought about, everything that has, transpired and has gotten me to this point on the healing journey. But I started my healing journey about 5 years ago. Okay. And this is a true intention, I guess, awareness that, okay, I'm on this journey. But prior to that, I had a knowing, an inkling that I needed to adopt certain things that would ground me. Those things being like prayer, yoga, understanding that safe spaces and places were necessary to cultivate a world where uh, I'm a world that I can feel safe in, not knowing that it would be my battleground, that would be the place that that I would go to seek refuge and really war off, um, the things that try to keep you in spaces that you don't want to be in.
Well, that's great. So it kind of started around when your son was born because you said 5 years ago he's almost six, so you had this
Yeah.
moment of, okay, I need to, was it like I need to be better for myself, for my child, or was it like a combination of getting your
Yeah. So my son, definitely having him catapulted the journey. I realized very quickly that I recognized like some of the patterns of my childhood transpiring, and I have always told myself that, you tell yourself, I'll do things differently. I want things to be different. And I didn't really anticipate having my son when I had him. So it definitely catapulted the journey and really like, okay, if you're going to do this, you have to do it. And it's a full time gig. It's no days off. It's no moments off. You're full fledged in the process of, fighting those, doing what you need to do to get better and to have better.
Oh, I love that. Now, how would you say balancing all of that is going for you? Like, how do you balance home, being corporate mommy, being a brand specialist, being you, but still having your identity? How, being a mom, being a businesswoman. How do you do that?
Okay, that question is jam packed, but
Sorry.
I'm gonna try to take it bits and pieces of it at a time. And I think the pandemic really helped, right? being like in one space, having to seclude yourself and really, that's all you had. So I didn't really have, that was a real safe time and space for me. But prior to that, I mean, it was really hard. It was really and literally a fight, and me trying to, fight and advocate for my son and the things that I wanted for him, and then fighting and advocating for myself, dealing with postpartum depression and dealing with being a new mommy and things like that. So it was just a literal straight up fight, that really, um, that was in those initial and beginning stages of the journey. But then coming out of that type of fight, and then, there's levels to this. And so then you go on, once you have settled in and decided how you want your life to be and the way that things are okay and the standards for your life and how you're going to govern yourself, then it is the fight and the opposition of, your environment, and having to um introduce the new self into your new environment. And then that's a fight, right? Because people aren't used to this new you, this new way of doing things, these new boundaries and things like that. And so then that becomes, the fight that you have to deal with. And so we are now, right, coming out of pandemic style living and things like that. And so after you have dealt with that, then it's kind of a different path from there. You are truly standing in yourself, and you're truly standing in all those things that you fought so hard to have for yourself.
So true. Yeah. And then, yeah, the whole pandemic kind of did make kind of a lot of people go into themselves to figure out what they want to do with their lives, where they want to set their boundaries. Boundaries are just hard because a lot of people, we aren't raised understanding boundaries.
Yeah,
Um,
for
I don't
sure.
think it's normal in Black families. I don't think we kind of raised with this is how you're going to do it because I said so. So it's just not like, yeah, boundaries are just, they're always hard for me. I'm
Yeah,
working.
boundaries are one of those things. I'll never forget. I heard a sermon. I was at church or something, and there was a sermon about boundaries, and it really touched home for me because it was the first realization, like, there are no like, you have no boundaries. There are no boundaries. The people around you have no boundaries. And from that moment, and again, this was like post pandemic, but from that moment, I decided to establish boundaries for myself, like for real boundaries. And I did this for about a year, where I wrote out, like, every quarter I would write out new boundaries that I had set for myself. And it really helped. It really, really helped me. I still, to this day, I don't write them out like I used to, but I am mindful of the boundaries in which we have. And just to piggyback off what you said, I think as a people, we are just so loving, and we are so, we embrace everyone and anyone that, that comes around us. And so I think innately we are those type of people who don't really establish boundaries when need to be. But I think we're learning.
Yes, we are as a collective. I think we are learning a little bit better and we are healing a lot more, which is great. Um, since you are, this is an off the cuff question because it just popped in my
Okay.
head, so I'm sorry.
Sure.
But
Yeah.
since you are in the business of branding, have you noticed the increase? I guess I don't know. See, off the top of my head, it gets weird.
Yeah, you're fine. Take time.
An increased amount of like Black girl healing, like Black boy joy. Like we are take this era is all about taking back our power and finding ourselves, and it's a lot. Like we didn't know about these things growing up. Like, what do you mean healing? What do you mean shadow work, inner childhood work? I love it so much that more people of color are learning about good boundaries, learning about how to heal themselves, and it's a great place to be in. As someone who helps people rebrand their businesses, how would you how would you, if somebody were to ask you about healing, how to start, how to rebrand their life, how would, what steps would you give them to start, like, to rebrand this healing journey?
Okay. What steps I would give them? I think any part of, well, first of all, branding is storytelling. And the only way you can storytell is to really know your product, know the subject, know yourself. And so one of the things about healing, and people talk about the healing journey, is really understanding who you are, and then how you want people to see you. Um how do you want people to I want to say label you, but that's not the that is not the word I'm looking for. But when people look at you, what is the impression that you want to give off? What do you want to exude? And then I would just go from those things. If you want to be loved, you have to be friendly. Or if you want a friend, you have to show yourself as friendly. If you want love, you have to be lovable. If you want people to see you as compassionate, you have to show compassion. And so that's what healing work is. That's what shadow work is. Really uncovering who you are as a person. But yeah, that's what I would tell someone.
Okay, get to know yourself. I like that. And that is basically the work, getting to know yourself. You are like an onion. You are peeling back layers that you didn't know existed.
Yeah, you are.
Now, what is your go-to self-care? Like, what does your self-care, like a one of your self-care routines look like?
Yep. So one of my self-care routines would be yoga. I do enjoy yoga. But even simpler than that, anytime I can like light an incense and just sit with myself, that's a form of self-care to me. Anytime that I can sit quietly for a minute, that's the best self-care that for me.
Yes. Yes, I love
Yeah.
me time. And I've learned how to set time for myself, because that has been a big issue myself, is making sure that I'm taking care of me. Because, we're used to, like, in the work world, we're used to go, 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 go. And then you have to
Oh yeah.
kind of, when you get home, you have to, like, no, no, wait, let me. So, yeah, I would
Yeah.
say, yeah, yoga used to be my favorite thing. I kind of do like a weird mixture of yoga. Like, I make sure I get my stretches in, but
Yeah.
it then just turns into a self meditation. I'll just sit there, listening to like frequency music, and just have my candles lit and just relax. And the next thing I know, I'm like, oh, well, that was an hour. That was
Yeah.
awesome.
Oh yeah. That too.
Because we don't get a lot of, I don't have a lot of me time, but I'm
Yeah.
trying to learn how to balance it. Now, so I'm trying to glance at my questions. Okay. Now, what would you, now we talked about what you would suggest to someone who wants to start their healing journey. What would you, if somebody came to you and wanted to know, like, how, if they wanted to restart their life, start over, what would your words of wisdom be of how they can move forward and start over?
Okay. Alongside with really understanding who you are, like understanding yourself, the next step I would say is fake it till you make it. Now, not the fake it till you make it that most people think of, but I'm talking about the intentional practice of doing the things that you want, practicing who you want to be, practicing being loving, practicing being compassionate, practicing if you want to be a humanitarian, voluntary, like practicing what you preach, right? So that you are actively putting back into the universe what you're saying that you want. And then the universe has no choice but to give that back to you because it's about frequency. So I would definitely say, fake it till you make it. An intentional practice of doing what you want to yield the results that you want. Mhm.
Oh, you actually told me that before, and I remember, like,
Oh,
every time
really?
one of my positive voices in my head when I'm just like, oh, I can't do it. And you told me one time, you're like, but you've got this. You are what you're saying you are. And I'm like, I am. And so every time I'm like, I'm like, Teva pops in my head. She's like, you are, girl. You are. You are
Yep.
this. You are. And I was like, yeah, I am. I am. I'm showing up as the person I want to be. And
Yeah.
slowly but surely, I am turning out to be that way.
Look at you. Look
You know,
at you.
I was just like, oh, yeah. It's just weird. You just because it's just you don't think that being intentional with your life and being intentional with your words, it's not going to make a difference. Oh my god, it makes a huge difference.
It
I
does,
used
most definitely.
I used to get so angry when people would be like, "Oh, mindset, oh, intentional." I'd be like, "It don't work." And then I just one day I was just like, "It worked." I was just like, I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna wake up a little bit early, set my day, plan out my life, plan out my month. It started with a day, week, month. Now I'm like, okay, I can make
Yeah.
general plans for the year, and you just
I mean, what's the alternative? If you're not governing your life, then someone is governing your life for you. So why not?
right.
Why not do the things that you need? I mean, just why not? It's almost like a blank canvas. You can create, be, do whatever you want. It's about your mindset. And if you don't tell your day, and if you don't tell yourself what to do, somebody else is going to tell you. Your job is going to tell you. Your parents are going to tell you. Your children are going to tell you. All the things that you commit yourself to, they will begin to run your life as opposed to you running it. So why not run it? Who wants someone else running their life?
It's yours. It's your life. It's your body. It's
It's
your
your life.
do it. Yeah. Oh my god. It was like the best. Just do it. Just do it. No Nike endorsement here, but just do it.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure.
Now, the last question that I have listed here, which when I wrote it, I sat back and I was just like, wow, I like that question. All of these questions I had a hard time answering.
Yeah.
I was like, they're good thinkers. Because I was like, if somebody asked me these questions, I'd be like, girl, I don't know. Why are you asking me these things?
Yeah.
But so with everything that you're doing in life, everything that intentionally spending time with yourself, with your son, making sure that because you guys are going places, you guys are traveling, you are giving him experiences that are amazing. Like we don't want this day to happen anytime soon. So knock on wood, universe, listen, we're talking about far, far future, like 100 years old, like Betty White, okay, and the Queen. When you leave this world, or even when your son is an adult, what are the memories that you want him to remember you as? How do you want him to be like, oh yeah, me and my mom used to, or, you know,
I want him to first, I want him to have been able to establish boundaries because that is a big thing. We are naturally people pleasers, and so having those boundaries are important. I want him to always be who he is and be in love. He is love. He embodies love. I think it's so beautiful. Um, yeah, I need for him to have a sense of self, and I try to imprint that on everybody that I meet. They're important. They're important pieces to live in a peaceful, wholesome life. Like you have to know who you are. You have to practice love. You have to practice boundaries, and I think those three things are key. So outside of like all the monetary and the accolades and all those things, that is legacy to me. That is my legacy, and that is what I hope to leave.
that is wonderful. And because yeah, you want to make sure you are providing a life for your child, anybody in general, that they don't have to heal from. Because being at a stage and you're still healing from your childhood because you didn't know about these things is hard. So
Yeah.
yeah, I com- I wish the best for you and for your son and your family and everything that you touch. You have like a Midas touch, so everything that you touch turns to gold. You are amazing.
Thank you. Thank you.
Do you have any last words that you would like to share about business, healing, love, life, anything, any good nuggets, any good healing tidbits you would like to share with us today?
Sure. Let me see. Let me dig in my arsenal, see what I got.
Have good stuff.
um, I don't know. I just would like to tell people, and I had to tell myself this all the time, and I just want to say to anybody who is not satisfied with their life that they have the authority and the ability to change it. That's period, point blank, no questions asked, no explanation needed. It's it's your life.
Ooh,
You can do it.
yes, you have the ability, the what else did you?
Authority.
The authority and the ability. Yes, the authority. Take that authority back.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
that just spoke to
it's
me.
your
You just got
it's your
life.
birthright.
Yeah,
So
it is.
yeah.
And if I remember correctly, because I'm my brain, I got I'm 40 now. My brain, I'm trying to
Are
get her
you?
back together. Yes, I just turned 40 in September.
Oh my goodness! Happy belated. 40 where?
Thank you.
I know
I'm
that's right.
I'm still glowing. Oh, we don't, we age differently. We're like stuck
Oh
in
yeah.
time. We're timeless.
Yes, we
But
are.
I am so happy for the I say young, but the young ladies in their 20s and even early 30s that are learning early and starting the healing early.
Yes.
Like when I was getting ready for my 40th, I was just like, oh, it's 40, but then I was just like, I've never been this age before, and I am not the same person I was when I was turning 30. I
Yeah.
am I am a renewed me, and I'm awesome and I'm amazing and I have so much life to live. But if I had the chance and opportunity to start my healing journey earlier, I can imagine where I could be now in my 40s. So I give a round of applause to anyone at whatever age decides that they want to, like you say, take that authority back and take control of their lives, because it's hard.
It is hard. It is
Hard
hard.
when you are other you're something else to other people. So like, it's not just about you doing your work, because while you're doing your work, you could be having a bad day. You could have remembered some horrible trauma. You could be triggered up the wazoo, but you still have to show up and be a mom. You still have to show up and do your job. You still have to show up to be a daughter. You still have to show up to be a spouse. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah. And not only is it hard, Tiffany, I think sometimes it can be dangerous. It can be
Yes.
dangerous to your mental health, physical health. I mean, it can just be downright dangerous to decide to go on this journey and do the work, but it is worth it. It is worthwhile. Um, and you'll be better for it. Your family will be better for it. The thing is after you have done the work and you've gotten to a place to where you are firm and you are strong in who you are, you can go back and get your people. Not everyone is going to come along, not everyone will embrace it the way you embrace it, but you understand that there's levels to this,
Mhm.
and that you just do your part, and you share your wisdom, you share your knowledge with them, and some will take it and some won't, and that's okay. But yeah, you can always go back and get your people.
Yeah, that's true. And it's a good thing to remember, like when you are on this journey, not to make other people feel bad because they're not where you are on your,
Yeah.
like you could have been doing, you may have gotten somewhere further than someone who's been on it for 3 years, and you came like, I can't believe. You don't know what they're unpacking. You don't know what they're dealing with. So be kind, not only to yourself but everybody in this world, because you do not know what
Yeah,
anyone's
don't
going through.
know. And you can get stuck on this journey, unpacking and unhealing. It can be traumatic.
Yeah.
So you have to show grace. You have to be compassionate, because I always say it could be you at any moment. Roles can switch, and it could be you. So
Hmm.
yeah.
Well, thank you so much, my gorgeous friend, for coming
Oh, you're welcome.
with us and speaking life into me again. As always, every time we speak, I always leave with feeling. Teva said, "I'm going to do this." So um,
Appreciate that.
I'm so excited. This was great information, great things. Um, if you ever want to come back on, it's a free invitation. This is
Thank
awesome. It's just
you.
me talking to myself the most of the time. So thank you guys for watching. I'm super excited. I am going to try to do more video vlogs of the podcast. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this with your friends and family. And as always, remember to love yourself and to speak life into yourself. I'm Tiffany Middleton, and this was That's What Healing Is. Thank you guys.